ability to learn. However, if in this very wide margin of acceptable clothing to come to school, if someone decides to take their toe and dip it outside the lines, we have a wardrobe here at school, and we simply send the student down, get them changed, and back to class. Done. We do not want students missing school, missing class because they don't have on something within our very wide range of acceptable dress code. Now, if that were to continue with the same student always trying or many times trying to step outside the dress code, then it's really not a dress code issue, it's a compliance issue, and we will address that separately. All right, lunch. We have lunch at Meg's, and it is a time for students to be able to talk. It is a time for students to have social interaction. It is 30 minutes long. They get to go by grade level. They get to sit wherever they want. You know, of course, if we have any issues with lunch, we will address those, and possibly we may have to go to assign seats for some or all of the students for a certain amount of time. But otherwise, it is a time for students to connect, enjoy their lunch on a daily basis. All right. So just another reminder of how to contact us. Dr. Mullins, back to this, the contact information. It's really important that you know this. I'm a little tricky because my mother decided I was going to go by my middle name, and the district uses our first name. So just to get this out, you will see I go by Scott Underwood, but my email address is Samuel Underwood. So there are the contact information for us. Again, our website is up there. I can't emphasize that enough. It has got so much vital information. And then we have the SEL website. Really want you to take a visit to that. I think everyone that goes, you will find at least one thing that you will take from that site and be using it, if not on a daily basis, many times a week. I certainly do. I just read an article from the site that was just put up today, 10 reasons why we need to take a deep breath every day. 10 reasons, and you wouldn't believe all those reasons. So I took 10 deep breaths right before this presentation. All right, so is that it, Dr. Mullins?
That is it. I'm going to give our viewers back your face and see if we have any questions and answers. Dr. Rossi is filtering through those. Okay.
Yes, please put your questions in the chat, and we will try to answer as many of these as we can. We have until 12 o'clock, so we can go until then, and any other questions, we will certainly make sure we have an FAQ on the site. So Dr. Rossi, we have any questions?
Yes, we had a few questions. There were 4, and I have already answered them. One of the questions, and they have been published in our Q&A, and one of the questions was about, you know, hearing the music, and I told them we were having technical difficulties, so they will be able to hear the music on our site. And they asked about a chess club. Yes, we have that. And someone asked about test scores for the 5th grade enrollment. I let them know that that will be coming from optional schools, and they will be the only ones sharing that information. And I'm just going to thank them for coming to our virtual tour. I think I have 2 more coming in. Let me answer them. Or I will let you answer them. I'll just read them out instead of responding since we're here.
Okay.
What percentage of students are accepted? I thought you went over that when you told them the grade level. You may want to revisit that. Per grade level, they asked the percentage of students that are going to be accepted.
Right. So unfortunately, we do not have that information because we're not provided the total list. What I can tell you about it is that in 5th grade, there will be 175 students selected. That is the largest amount of students that will be coming into MEGS. For 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the only number of students accepted are for those spots that the students left before the beginning of the next school year. So let's say in 5th grade, we have 175 kids to start the school year this year, and 5 kids leave over the course of the school year. When we start back in the 21-22 school year, 6th grade will have 5 open spots. So you can see there's quite a discrepancy between 175 names being pulled for 5th grade and only 6 names for 6th grade. That's just an example, or 5 names for 6th grade. So it varies from year to year. We have had years where students, there have been no spots for 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade because all of the students returned. And we've also had up to 12 to 14 students in a grade level because many students left for various reasons. So it varies. I would safely say in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I've seen from 0 spots available to 15 spots available. So it doesn't give you the answer you're looking for, but I hope it gives you a bit of perspective of how that works.
So Dr. Underwood, I am answering some of the questions, and the ones that I'm answering, I'm going to just publish those, and then the ones that you're answering, I am sending them to the dismiss column because we have already answered those. The next question is, what percentage of students are accepted?
So that's what I just answered. I don't know the percentage because we never know the complete list. So the only way I would know that is if I had the complete list and then could compare that to the number that was accepted. And unfortunately, I don't get that, so I can't answer that.
How will you handle potential learning loss from 2020 to 2021 virtual learning?
So, okay, so learning loss is an interesting concept, and I'm not going to get into some of the scientific details on what learning loss looks like, but we are going to meet children where they are, and we do lots of assessments as they come into the building, and we are going to make sure that we are meeting them where they are academically. Students are not going to be punished for whatever information they have not been able to get. So again, it's very important. We did that this year also because of course, our wacky spring semester. So we are, our teachers make sure to do pre-assessments with the students to find out where they are, and then to get the appropriate supports in place to get them eventually up to where we want them to be as our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Okay, we have pretty much two questions, and they're asking the same thing. So we can just speak about the MAP test scores. What metrics will they use for admission this year, given the changes in MAP testing and other standardized testing this year? I don't know if you've heard about that yet.
Yes, so what I know about the MAP testing, and if you go to that school options site, it will give you the criteria so you can read it from the horse's mouth. I'm kind of hearing it third hand. I did read it. They're going to use multiple MAP data sources in order to seek qualification for the testing portion of getting into an academic magnet school. And they have lowered the STAY-9 by a point. So typically you had to have a combination of 14 STAY-9 in ELA and math. But this year they are lowering it to a 13 combination of ELA and math. Now the difficulty with that is when you look at your MAP scores, you're seeing percentile ranks, not STAY-9s. So in order to determine the STAY-9, you have to convert it. So that's not easy unless you're a mathematician to be able to convert those STAY-9s. So You could look into conversion of percentile ranks into stay nines and see if you could figure that out. Otherwise, you should be receiving a letter. My understanding, all Metro Nashville Public Schools students should be receiving a letter from Metro Nashville Public Schools this week prior to January 25th. January 25th is the first day of optional school application. So they want everyone to know that has the ability to enroll in an academic magnet school. They want them to know that prior to the start of the process. So you should be getting a letter if your child qualifies. Now, let's say you don't get the letter, but you feel like your child qualified. What I would do once the application opens, put your student's ID number in, the 190 number, and it should show you a list of schools that are available to choose for enrollment for the 2021 school year. If MEGS is grayed out, which means it's not an option, the district is saying that your child did not qualify. If MEGS is an option that you can choose, then you can choose that option, which means that MNPS says your child did qualify, because all the programs are created around the student's ID number. So that's another way to check. Then let's say you are absolutely confident your child met the criteria, and you didn't get a letter, and you went to the website and MEGS is grayed out. If you feel there's a mistake in that work from the district, reach out to the school options office, and they will be the ones to have to go back in and clarify and confirm that their information is correct or wasn't correct. So that'll be the best way to go about that.
Okay. I'm trying to answer a lot of the questions. Will you say the club schedule again? I know they start at 1:30, just can't recall how frequently. And also someone wants you to demonstrate how an SEL is integrated into the classroom. So I don't know if you want to.
So the first question, clubs, it is typically every other week. Now there are times where it'll be 3 weeks apart, but you know, in essence, it's a Wednesday, and it starts about 1:45. We conclude our traditional academic classes, and then we move to these clubs from 1:45 until 2:55 every other week. Again, there are some exceptions. If we have a wacky week, we have a vacation, like a holiday week, Thanksgiving, spring break, fall break, it sometimes shifts it around, but we try to have these as consistently as possible. And these are chosen by the students. They get to select the clubs that they want to enroll in. So we're excited about that program. The other question was SEL, how is that implemented? So it's different for different grade levels. For 5th and 6th grade, Susan, our SEL facilitator, she will go in and read books to the students that have some type of lesson about, you know, being a good human and learning how to manage emojis. She will provide them with fidgets to show them how fidgets are to be used to help them with concentration. She will they will watch a video, Move This World. They start the day with this. It's mindfulness work. And so they watch the video and talk about emotionally managing their emotions. And then at the end of the day, there is what's called embodied relaxation, that the students end the day with something to get them calm from all the stressors of the day before they go home. We at MEGS have a school full of perfectionists, high-performing kids that are extremely, they have very low tolerance for making mistakes. So we like to, as we showed today, we made mistakes. We like to model these things. It's really easy for me to model mistakes and let them know the sky's not going to fall